Hi everyone, this is Aaron Passantine.
And this is Celia.
And this is Jamie Dodds.
We're here to welcome you all to the 5th programming in our series of Return to Oz, and in association with Celia's ReturnToOzTheMovie.com website. And we're very pleased to bring to you finally at our 5th programming and show in this series. And here's Celia Foster, and we're just about to present someone very special that you heard at the beginning of the program. Celia?
Yes, and we were very honored to have Jamie come on and do a show with us because he presented some interesting questions for us, and we thought that it would be interesting to look at Return to Oz from like a more global perspective.
Yes, that's right, and we're so excited to have Jamie here with us today. So, Jamie, you can tell us about Return to Oz and how you think, of course, people in the U.S. know that it failed, and it's pretty sad, but in the U.K. it was a different story. So, unless, Celia, you have other plans for the beginning of this, maybe, Jamie, you can mention that to everyone now.
Well, yes, the first film showings of Return to Oz, I think, were genuinely sort of not very well, and the critics reviewed it saying it was a very poor sequel to The Wizard of Oz, which of course it's not a sequel at all. Also, that word of mouth got around that this is quite something that needs to be reevaluated. So different people were saying, "Oh, go and see the film and see what you think," and then people say, "Oh well, I like that," you know, and they went and told their friends about it, and then word of mouth spread. And I mean, the general feeling about Return to Oz is you either like it or you hate it in England, which I think it's a very different story there in the US.
I think so. Celia, maybe you can mention, since you're known as historian for the movie, at least with many people.
Well, I have a little bit more to add about the UK thing.
Yes.
It was okay. I read in an article that in spite of it flopping in the U.S., but I read it in an article, I think it's posted on my site too, that in spite of all that, in the UK and in Europe overall, it was the UK box office returns for 1985 when it was released in late 1985. In the UK, it was like number 3 its box office. So obviously, it did better because my hypothesis is that it did better, probably because a lot of people in the UK weren't familiar with the MGM 1939 movie.
That's right.
Yeah.
And so they didn't have that reference. So they were more open to other interpretations.
It's interesting. What do you think about that, Jamie?
I think the reason that it didn't really take off, well, to begin with here in the UK, well, I mean, loads of people were sort of familiar with the Judy Garland film, and because it's almost an annual film here on English TV. I mean, at Christmas, like, there's always a space for it in the schedules, and well, to cut a long story short, the Return to Oz film, it's not really aired as much as the MGM film. Maybe because there's not such a big following.
Yeah. Do you think that's right?
Oh, yes.
So,
I agree.
Okay. That's neat. I don't really have a lot to say about that. I think that, like I said, Celia knows a lot about that. I think that I personally never could figure out why it didn't do well in the United States, and I agree that I really do think that it had something to do with, they expected to see Judy Garland, and the magic that they saw Technicolor from the 1939 movie. And when that wasn't brought out, people had issues and arguments and plenty of issues and problems that they want to bring out to the public, and that deteriorated into the critics and to what the media and to Disney brought out, I guess. Is that how it showed slightly, Celia?
Yeah, I think that a lot of the problems too was with the actual marketing. The way it was marketed at the time wasn't accurate, didn't give a feel for it being sort of an older children's film instead of a young children's film. And people took their young children to see this movie and expected to see something, and they got something very different.
Yes. And I think the very difference, Jamie, I think that you could tell was a good difference, don't you think?
Yeah, I mean, in the original film, of course you've got Judy Garland and the Munchkins singing Merrily Down the Yellow Brick Road.
Right.
Now, in Return to Oz, it's almost a post-apocalyptic Oz with a broken yellow brick road and a ruined empty. And people weren't. I can imagine people sitting in the seats saying, "Hang on, where are Munchkins?
Right.
Where are the Munchkins? Where is Glinda?" You know.
Yes.
I often have thought, "Oh well, this was just totally something I didn't expect at all," and then that's why people stayed away from it, I think, which is just what. So I agree with Celia there.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty sad thing in a way. I mean, Disney is known for their animation and their wonderful movies that they've made over the years, and I think that they did a great job on Return to Oz, and it was wonderfully done, and especially with the way Celia has now restored it to the knowledge and the articles and so many things that she's gathered up over the years available to the public now. I really think that without Celia on with your website, Celia, I don't think anyone would have had it, because obviously you can't get the great knowledge these days without the internet, really. I mean...
Really, yeah, it was my saving grace.
Yes, yeah. Jamie?
Well, I mean, I'd followed Celia's site from quite early on in the from the very early on the internet.
Yes.
So, I mean, there wasn't really that much in the way of Return to Oz sites on the internet, except The Dark Side of the Rainbow, which is the subtitle.
Yeah.
And I then wanted to know more, and then I kept on coming back to the site, and as it was being updated, and then I came across this Returning to Oz documentary, and I thought, oh, this should be interesting. So I clicked it on, and I kept on downloading them and just listening to them one after the other.
Great.
And then I just intrigued it, and that's what set us off with contacting you.
Great. I think that's great, and like I said, Jamie said that he was very intrigued by these programs, and I told Celia, and Celia was excited, and we were all happy. And then after, so everyone knows the final picture, so we can mention publicly, which I personally, there's nothing to hide on the issue, and I think it's great that all of you international listeners and people here in the U.S. can understand after much thinking. And if you guys want me to mention the questions that came in from this guy that contacted you, Celia?
Yes.
Okay.
I believe he said his name was Jason.
Right, yeah. And his name is Jason, and he wrote a letter coming from Virginia. And
yeah.
He just wrote this recently to Celia, so we're thankful, Jason, that you contacted Celia and told her about this. Keep all of us aware. So this is the first thing he said. He said, first of all, I love the audio commentary that you have with Aaron Passantine, and you said hopefully some of these would be considered in your discussions of Return to Oz if possible. Well, we hardly have gotten anything in, and of course we'll want to answer. You guys ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay, good. Alright, this is the question that he wanted to know. In the beginning of Dorothy's Return to Oz, the audience is brought back to where Dorothy's old house fell, and then he says, where and what happened to all of the Munchkins?
Okay, well, you'll notice in that scene Dorothy says that's where we landed on the Wicked Witch of the East, and then she wonders aloud herself, where are all the Munchkins? But where are all the Munchkins? And the best way I can answer that is that probably during when the Gnome King took over Oz and the Emerald City, probably what happened was the Munchkins probably all got turned to stone somewhere, and instead of being in the Munchkin country or whatever, they were all statues in the Emerald City with everybody else.
Wow, interesting.
That would be my best guess.
Yeah, I bet that's it.
In the movie, but that would be my best guess.
That's right. Yeah, that sounds very much reasonable. I believe that. Jamie, what do you think about this?
I always wondered what did happen to the Munchkins, but I sort of made up this explanation. I mean, Dorothy does explain it in the novel, sort of like an offhand comment. Oh, maybe they're off doing something somewhere, you know.
Yes. That's what I thought.
Maybe the Munchkins had managed to escape to Ev, and then when they found out that the Gnome King was destroyed, then they came back.
Right.
There's Munchkins in the coronation scene, if I remember.
That's right, yes. Absolutely. And I remember when she said where all the Munchkins, and she looked down and saw that little area, if you guys, you remember, especially you, Celia, remember,
right.
When she looked down and saw that little opening with the leaves that looked like it was where the shoes were, or the witch, you know? Remember that? And you remember that, Jamie?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Because when I saw that, it almost scared me, because I thought, well, where are they? And then I thought, well, where are the shoes? And they're gone, and I was really scared. I mean, I still get a little scared.
That the Gnome King took the ruby slip.
And I didn't think about that, until later on. And so then she starts running away and then finds the Emerald City all ruined. So, it's sad. But anyways,
yes, that's the answer to the first question.
Right, okay. Now, the other question, if you guys want to have that.
Okay, I can definitely answer another one.
Okay, the guy was wondering, why there's mention of Glinda in the Return to Oz movie. He says that he was wondering why there's mentioning of Glinda in the Return to Oz movie.
Why there's no mentioning of Glinda?
Yeah, he doesn't say...
Okay, I can probably...
No mentioning.
Again, this is a hypothesis on my part.
Yes.
But I would say why there's no mentioning of Glinda in here is because they have so many new characters in this movie that are introduced that they probably had no time to write in Glinda as well. Because you've got the Ghost, you've got Selena, you've got TikTok, and then you have some of our old characters like the Scarecrow. You have so many new characters in this film that they probably said, you know what, if we added Glinda in here, it would just probably mess up the story. So they probably chose to write her out because we were already getting introduced to Ozma.
Yes, and she was a very nice character for that, so...
And so I think that they probably just said, you know, it would be too confusing if we added Glinda into the story, too.
Yes.
That's my best guess. Again, I don't know. You know, it's pretty interesting in the fact that they just chose not to deal with it. So I don't know. It was probably because the story was getting a little long anyway.
Yes, I don't know. That sounds. I mean, all these reasons of you guys on Friday, I think. Yeah. What do you think, Jamie? You need to talk.
I actually think it would have heard the story if Glinda turned up at that point, because, well, there is sort of the feeling that Ozma is filling Glinda's shoes in that sort of respect of coming in, like, telling her, oh, you can go back home now, this is your job here is done, you know. And I do think it would have messed up the story a bit. I mean, I'm probably just repeating what you've said already.
No, it's...
There is too much new characters introduced in that film that it really wouldn't have made a great bigger difference to the story.
Wow. I almost thought that you were going to say that. All of a sudden when you start... Oh, wow. That's very interesting, Jamie. Isn't that, Celia?
Yeah,
yes.
It is.
Well, I hope that you're... all of you guys enjoy these conversations that we have with each other and to better educate you on this movie. So, we do hope you are intently listening, especially in a few minutes when things will get really funny. Right, guys?
Right.
Right, Jamie?
Yeah.
You guys don't sound too excited. What's wrong with you guys?
I am excited.
Okay, I can tell that you're excited, Jamie. Celia, are you? Come on, Celia.
What?
You're excited, right?
Yes, I'm very excited.
This is your favorite movie.
It's just seen the Gnome King in the ruby slippers.
That's right, Jamie. That's right. Okay, now, he's almost done with the questions, and we're going to get to the exciting part of the program.
Okay.
So, he says, if Return to Oz were done today with the technology we have today, would it be better or too distracting to tell the story?
Well, that's a very interesting question because I was considering that myself not too long ago.
Oh.
Like with CGI.
Yes.
And that would have been really, really interesting because, like I said, we were discussing, well, Jamie and I were discussing, I know, that, there was, a whole lot left out from the, previous drafts of the script.
Yeah.
They wanted to bring in 3 characters, that were the rest of the Army of Oz.
Okay.
They couldn't do it because of, it didn't look satisfying enough, and they were running out. They had a budget slash anyway.
Right.
Would have been interesting because I think CGI would have taken care of that for them.
Oh wow, that's interesting.
I actually
think talk about that.
Would work on its own. Well, one of the reasons I think the film works is because it is puppets. It does have a certain charm to it. I mean, so does the Dark Crystal. I mean, that's puppets. And, but they are actual creatures. I mean, you like to think of them as real creatures, sure.
Yes.
So it does have a certain charm, and it is the Jim Henson Creature Workshop that did the creatures in the first place.
Yes. Correct, Celia?
Right.
Right, okay. Wow, amazing. Well, do you have more things to say, or, you can... It's up to you guys, or...
Actually, the thing
does that address all of his questions?
I think so. He had one other question.
Okay.
What did... Jamie, you were saying something to everybody.
Just a question with the CGI. I mean, it would have solved... It certainly would have solved the problem with the Gnome King. It wouldn't have had to have been, 1 minute played by a claymation character, the next minute by an actor. I mean, they could also have done changing heads of Mombi with CGI and so
I know. So, right, that's right. Absolutely. Alright, well, the last thing, in audio commentary, I think he was mentioning, Celia, what we were doing before, about Disney owning the rights to the Oz books. Do you think that it is possible for Disney to make another Oz film? I think that question's obvious.
Well, okay, but I do know the answer to that one, and the answer is no, because
right.
In 1984 or in the early 80s when Walter was approached to do this movie, the very next year, in 1986, was when Disney's rights to the Oz books expired. So no, they cannot do another movie. At least Disney cannot do another Oz movie. I do not know who currently has the rights to all the Oz books.
I know who has the rights. Well, Richard Birch, who owns Oz Central, apparently, he has the rights to all the Oz books, the licensing rights. So he owns official licensing rights to the Oz books. Although The Wonderful Wizard of Oz is now in public domain, they own official licensing rights, and it's a little bit more than that because some other places deal with it as well, but I know they own it. I don't know if they have power for a movie. They may. I don't know. My involvement with them currently, I don't know that information, but I could find out soon, maybe from them, about that. So,
I have heard numerous rumors that director Tim Burton was flirting with an idea for like a television series on Oz.
really,
And that would have been interesting. I don't know if he's actually done it yet. I haven't heard, but
wow.
that would have been interesting.
Was that a few years ago when that was
Yes,
made public?
I read that a few years back.
Okay.
And again, I don't know if they really that materialized.
Maybe they dropped it.
Okay.
Maybe they dropped it. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
I don't know. I don't know either, but I haven't seen it
Jamie
around.
knows something. Jamie, you know something?
I think there was plans to do a kind of sci-fi version of Oz called Tin Men, where
Oh.
a girl called Dorothy ends up in this outer zone dimension that's ruled by evil Tin Men.
Do you know about that?
It
Oh.
was in FFX.
Oh. Yeah.
That thing we get here in England about science fiction and fantasy.
Yes.
But that's all I know. I don't even know if there's stuff from the pilot for it yet.
Wow. Well, we'll have to be keeping that updated from you in the future on the programming. Great.
Right.
Yep.
Everyone, now we're going to move something to a interesting, exciting, funny side to this program that has nothing to do with Return to Oz. So we hope that you guys will like this. The first thing is, now, Jamie, you know before we did this program that Celia and I approached you on this issue, and you need to go ahead and say these things because you know very well that the whole world is listening to whoever who will be downloading these programs, as whoever listens right now, as you're listening, that you've downloaded the program and you're listening. So, Jamie, since you live in the UK, you know that Charles Dickens' books and the goings-on are very popular there in the UK. Yes. Imitations. And Oliver Twist is very well known here in the US, and I want you to publicly give your wonderful impersonation of Oliver Twist. And if you don't... Right now, right, Celia?
Right.
Come on. You gotta be in with it, Celia.
Come on, Jamie.
Come on, Jamie. You know that the US would love this, and the UK, they'll love it too.
Right. Right.
Right.
So you want the famous line?
Yeah, do the famous line.
Right. Please, sir, I want some more.
Oh, okay. Think you can do a little bit better than that, right, Celia?
Right.
Hiya.
More.
Hiya.
Right. Please, sir, I want some more.
Ah,
Oh,
good.
fabulous.
That was wonderful. Yeah. Good job. Good job.
Well, we
That was
tried.
very good.
Now comes your next step. Will you sing to us?
Sing what?
Can you sing Over the Rainbow?
Sing what?
Over the rainbow. Over the rainbow.
Right. Okay.
You don't...
It'll be in a very minor key.
Alright, we'll try to hear. We hope you all enjoy it.
Somewhere over the rainbow, way up high, there's a land that I heard of once on a rainbow land.
Rainbow Land.
I added that bit at the end to bring it to a crescendo.
That's hilarious.
Yes.
I
Well, I thought it was very good.
Yes, I thought it was
I
very...
thought it was very bad.
Actually, I thought it was very, very good, and you did a great job with that, but you just... The line was messed up at the end. So... Yeah, well... Now, obviously, I tried to pronounce the UK type of stuff, and I can never do it well, so let me give how I do it, and then you're going to have to tell publicly everybody what you think about this, because you told Celia and I already, so we'll say, if I can say. Please, sir, they saw, I want some more.
It definitely needs a bit more work.
Yeah. Okay.
Definitely needs a bit more work. It's kind of Russian.
Kind of Russian. You know, I will tell everybody that Jamie thought that before he thought it sounded like Australian. Right, Jamie?
Yes, it did sound very Australian.
Okay. Well, this time he thought it sounded Russian.
Rolf Harris American style.
Oh. Okay. You're so funny. That's what we like, the interesting UK boys that have some interesting things to say. Right?
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Jamie? That's right. Jamie, we want to hear your impression of the US accent.
Do you really want to hear my impression of an American accent? Really?
Can you try it? If it's a one sentence, maybe you can.
I don't think I can.
You almost did it. That was pretty close, wasn't it, Celia?
Yes.
Yeah.
I live in the United States of America.
That was pretty much close to it. But
Yes, I think so.
But you know what?
More practice.
Yeah, but guess what, Jamie?
What?
That was
Sounded Australian.
no. No. It was Ron, you live in the United Kingdom.
Right.
Right. Right, Celia?
Right.
Right. Have you been tricking us all this time?
I do live in the United Kingdom, yes.
Oh, good. We thought you did. We know you wouldn't trick us like that, right, Celia?
No.
Yeah,
Of
we
course
know.
not.
Of course not, to Jamie. We know you wouldn't do that to us. Comedy type comments for the end of this, and we'll have to say goodbye to everybody.
Yes.
So,
Unfortunately.
yes, unfortunately. So, Celia, say some things to Jamie that you can get him going on for some comedy things, maybe.
Like what? Monty Python?
Do you want to give us some jokes, Jamie?
I don't know any Monty Python at all. I've never watched a Monty Python film before.
Okay.
A UK joke.
Yes. Direct from the UK.
Direct from the UK.
And it's coming in from the UK. Right, Celia?
Right.
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 And Jamie's gonna think very carefully right now about that. All of you to hear.
I honestly cannot think of a joke which would be suitable.
Oh.
Strange.
Oh, okay. Well, this is Aaron Passantine.
And this is Celia Foster.
And this is Jamie Dodds.
Okay. Thanks for listening.